Hey everyone, welcome to Live at 5. I'm Coach Libby Pease, the clairvoyant coach, and I am here to talk to you about purpose. So mapping your purpose. Okay, so with the structure that I wanted to put in here today is I wanted to sort of mix it up a little bit as well, and mix it up in the sense that part of many of our cultures is a bit of storytelling when it comes to really getting an idea about important subjects, important things that happen in people's lives. And the art of storytelling is important. I mean, we watch movies, we watch TV shows because we want to find out about the story, but we aren't necessarily doing this whole piece of telling a story, telling a narrative, being able to move forward with something through a conversation of storytelling. So what I'm going to do here is first I'm going to ask you the question, if you were to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself? What would you use to describe who you are? They describe themselves as mothers. Some people describe themselves as lawyers. Welcome to the lawyers. And so they describe themselves about what they do and who they do it for. But what happens when that gets taken away? So many of us have had upheaval in the last little while with COVID-19, let's name what it is. And so people have been disrupted from work. People have been disconnected from their family. Many times my clients have been in the past, because they've changed their religion or they have been booted out of a religion, they have lost everything. They've lost their purpose. They've lost their family. And suddenly it's like being left in the wilderness or a boat without a rudder. And it makes it really, really challenging to be able to move forward. So what I would like to invite you to do is to join me in a little bit of story time. Now, I know that a lot of people might think, oh, stories are for little kids, they're not for adults. But I'm going to challenge that because, as I was saying earlier, storytelling is such a rich piece of all of our cultures. The roots of it is about really being able to connect with people through storytelling. So I'm just going to invite you to just sort of ease in as I tell a bit of a story, and a story about Karry. Now, some of you might recognize a bit of the story. So the story begins with Karry. Karry grew up in a family that traveled all over the country, all over their land. And what she did as part of her purpose was to plant fruit trees. I mean, it was the most important thing to her family and to her culture was to be able to plant those fruit trees. And she noticed from her family that, you know, whenever she questioned, why is it that we do this? It's a hot day. Could we just sit and play? I would love to just learn how to sit and sew or weave or do something else, or learn to read these beautiful books that I'm seeing that everyone is reading around me, but I'm not able to. And they would say, but you know, planting these fruit trees is the most important thing that you could do in life. There's nothing that's more important than these fruit trees. So she, over time, was like, okay, well, if we're spending all of this time planting these fruit trees and doing these pieces, it must be important. There must be a greater purpose in doing this. So I will do it fully and completely with all of my power and all of my effort. And one day, as she was traveling across the country, she found herself, she just noticed in the distance there was this patch of soil that just seemed just perfect for the fruit tree seeds that she had. So she decided to go away from the crew, go away from the safety of the pack of family members and community members that she was, to go and check this place out, to go and check and see if it's the perfect soil to be able to put her tree into. And she did. It was the most perfect soil that was there. And with that soil, she was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm going to put a blackcurrant bush here. And then a man came out and said, you can't put that bush there. This is my property. You're not allowed to be here. And she was like, wait. This is most important work. Having these fruit trees in here is so important. And if you would just give me a chance to put these fruit trees in, it would just make all the difference in the world. It is so important. And the man said, I told you no. And he swooshed in and said, come get her. And this large bird, huge, came and swooped her up and took her away into the sky. And as she was flying away, all of her seeds fell to the ground. Everything was gone. All of her purpose was gone. And the bird flew and flew and flew and flew. Flew for miles, flew to places she had never seen, that she never even imagined before. And when she came to this place that she saw was sort of like a valley, she never even knew it existed. She didn't even know that mountains existed before. And the bird flew her into the valley and dropped her softly into the valley and then flew off in a totally different direction. She found herself in this desolate place that she'd never been before. Her purpose was gone. All of her seeds were gone. Her community was gone. What was she to do? So she sat and she put her head in her hands and she cried, because there was nothing else that she felt that she could do. Everything that had prepared her for life was gone. Everything that she had known was gone. And when she put her head up again, she noticed that there was a fox sitting right next to her. And the fox said to her, hello. And she was like, you talk. Of course I talk. What's going on for you? It looks like you're really upset. Well, I have just lost everything. I've lost my community. I don't even know where I am. I've lost all of my fruit trees. There's nothing else that I can do. That's the only thing I know how to do. And the fox said to her, well, now that you have this clean slate and you've got the world in front of you, what is it that you want to do? And what do you think she said? I know any of my clients who are sitting in here watching this will be like, she would say, I don't know. Right? That's the first reaction. And then the fox said, okay. If you were to know one thing, what would be important for you right now? Well, I think it would be important to find a place to be able to stay, because it's going to be night soon. Okay, so let's figure out. And as they were talking and as they were walking, she noticed that certain things were occurring. She was learning so much about herself. She learned what was important to her. So immediately that shelter piece, of course, those important things of, food, shelter, all of those things became important. But then beyond that there was that learning of what was passionate for her directly, things that were important to her directly, values that she had that were hers, that she didn't even realize were hers specifically, and not just from the community in which she lived in. Eventually, she noticed that with her walking and talking with Fox, that they eventually ended up at a different part of the valley. And in that part of the valley, there was a small community of people. And they were a community of people that had so many similar values and ideas and dreams and vision that she had, that she realized that she was in a totally different place and could move forward from here. But that whole time that she was walking with Fox, she was moving forward. So just like that, having that support of being able to be dropped into that desolate place, that you can still find your way. And how did she find her way? She found her way by finding out what was important to her, finding out what her values were, being able to recognize a community that was meaningful to her. And one way that you can do that, and I'm excited to talk about this right now, is by creating purpose. So just like Karry here, she was able in those conversations to be able to find her authentic purpose, things that were hers. She had lost everything. She had lost her community. She had lost her seeds. She lost her purpose. And she was able to create new purpose and a new life and a new community by understanding and knowing what it was that she wanted to do to move forward. I do have a new program. It's called My Authentic Purpose Program, and it's a program. But I wanted to find out from you, if you were able to find your full and authentic purpose in life, what would shift for you? What would change for you? It's awesome because with this program, you can, it really sort of dives into all of those different pieces that I talked about within the story of finding out what's important to you, really finding out what's important to you, listening at the beginning of what your experience has been like, and being able to move forward from there. Finding out what your values are so that you are being able to motivate yourself and be able to move forward with your values instead of being at the mercy of your values. Because what happens is when someone violates your core values, you tend to go off the handle pretty quickly, and you may not realize, oh wow, I went from 0 to 1,000 in 2.8 seconds. What happened there? When you have an understanding of what your core values are, you can't be manipulated in the same way because you have a real handle on that. Also, if your values are stroked, like stroking your ego, then you're not manipulated that way either. When you have a true understanding of what your values, your core values are, it really helps you to be able to move forward. And then being able to wrap that all together in creating your life purpose, which basically works as a roadmap. A map to help you to move forward in your life in the direction that you want to go, not in the direction that someone told you needed to do. Not like Karry there, who was told that she had to do fruit trees. There's nothing wrong with planting fruit trees, but if that's the only thing that you're doing in life and not being able to really cultivate the things that are important to you, the things that you find interesting, the things that you find authentic to yourself, then it becomes problematic. So being able to cultivate those things and be able to create a life purpose that works as a compass to be able to say, does this fit with what my life purpose is? It makes decision making so much easier. Oh my goodness. It makes that whole piece of, you might have an opportunity that comes available to you, but it doesn't really align. It doesn't really fit with the map. Then you can honestly say, do I move forward there or do I not? So I just invite you to be able to check this out. If you want to learn more about how you can be like Karry and be able to get out of that wilderness and be able to move forward in an authentic way, I invite you to be able to connect with me. You can either sign up here or you can private message me, and we can talk a little bit more about it. as well. But if you have any questions and you want to learn more about that, I always give a free consultation so that you can have a telephone conversation with me and let me know, and we can find out whether we're a good match to move forward with. And if not, I will be able to help you to find somebody who is. Because really the piece here is allowing you to be able to move forward with your own authentic life, so that you can have the life that you want and not just be walking around the wilderness with your head in your hands. So anyway, thank you so much for joining today. So if you are interested in the story, I will be writing it up. I will be posting it on the clairvoyantcoach.ca website. And I would love to have your comments also on any of the posts that are on the Clairvoyant Coach. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you again next Thursday at Live at 5. Bye, everybody.